And now I will, oh, someone clicked on the cloud, so that's okay. We are already recording all the languages. Okay, so we start the second part and more scientific part of the conference. And I will present shortly the speakers. The first speaker will be Mikhail Strakov. Mikhail Strakov is a heat power engineer. He was one of the first to test the PRK-1U device when testing was conducted by Grigori Grabovoi. He has extensive experience in controlling technical devices, as he works in production and has extensive experience in using both PRK-1U and PRK-1UM devices. Mikhail Strakov is Russian. And even the second expert is Russian, Konstantin Vasiliev. He is a physiotherapist by education. And he has a specialization in psychotherapy and reflexology. And he is a teacher at the Education Center of Grigori Grabovoi. The third speaker is German, and she is called Silvia Rolli. Silvia is a medic, a doctor by education. And works as a private nurse. And she has been studying the teachings of Grigori Grabovoi since 2017. And she has unique experience and observation on the use of several PRK-1U devices at the same time. And our fourth expert is Lubisa Renner, that is German. Lubisa is a graduate economist and naturopath. She got acquainted with the teachings of Grigori Grabovoi in 2010. And now she's a sub-licensee of Grigori Grabovoi. One of the leading teachers of the Grigori Grabovoi Education Center in German. Okay, so all these speakers will participate with a pre-recorded video that's sent to the organization. And we'll start with the first speaker, Mr. Strakov. That will be a very long speech. And it will be divided in two different videos. So now I will start broadcasting this first video. That will be in Russian. We start.
Здравствуйте. Я приветствую всех участников конференции. Я Страхов Михаил Юрьевич, участник развития концентрации вечной жизни ПРК-1У и ПРК-1УМ. Хочу представить вам заключение экспертизы.
For the video, the interpreters should have already the text written and can simply read it.
Stefano, I'm sorry.
Yes.
I don't see anything. I don't understand what to do here. Because
just a minute, I go in the other languages to see if everything is okay. Just a minute.
I can't minimize the screen because right now I can do it.
Edith, ¿está bien si vamos con el video y tú simplemente le bajo? Perfecto, bajo el sonido de Strakov, perfecto. Violetta, ¿sé bien si simplemente sì, you read, semplicemente leggi, perfetto. Dennis, is it okay if I start with the video, you simply do the voiceover in real time? You should have the text. Okay. Okay. So Ludmila, we start, okay? And you simply read the text in yeah, in the same time, okay? So Elena, when we start the video, you simply read the text in English, and we will do not have pause, okay?
Okay.
Okay, so we can start over again. So we start again. Just a minute.
Hello, I welcome all participants of the conference. I'm Mikhail Yurievich Strakhov, a member of the expert group on the examination of devices for the development of concentrations of eternal life PRK1U and PRK1UM. I want to present you the expert opinion. Scientific and technical examination of the conformity of the three-mode device for the development of concentrations of eternal life PRK1U and systems of 24 PRK1U devices and PRK1UM with the declared functions. examination number 8, dated November 8, 2024. Name of the product subject to the scientific and technical examination. 3-mode devices for the development of concentrations of eternal life, PRK1U and PRK1UM. Product manufacturer. Individual entrepreneur, Grigori Grabovoi PR Consulting Technologies of Eternal Development, acting under the certificate of state registration of an individual Grigori Grabovoi as an individual entrepreneur, dated September 21, 2015, issued by the Agency for Registration of Enterprises of the Republic of Serbia. The applicant at whose request the scientific and technical examination was carried out by lawyer Viktor Anatolievich Borodin, registered in the Moscow Register of Lawyers. Information about the Commission of Experts. Mikhail Yurievich Strakhov, heat power engineer, diploma of the Energy Institute, dated June 11, 1980, specialty thermal power plants, qualification heat power engineer, and the group of experts. I have been warned about the responsibility for the accuracy of the information presented in the report. Then, list of documents submitted for examination. The decision on the registration of an individual entrepreneur, Grigori Grabovoi PR Consulting Technologies of Eternal Development from the APR of Serbia. Certificates of electromagnetic compatibility and safety of the 3-mode device for the development of concentrations of eternal life PRK1U and PRK1UM 3-mode device issued in Serbia. Certificate of PRK1U medical device under ISO dated 2016. CE certificate of compliance of PRK1U with the European Union Directive. The next document, quality certificate ISO dated 2015. Then the certificate of the International Information Security Management Standard ISO dated 2013. The certificate of the Energy Management System ISO dated 2018, protecting the environment. Protocols of the results of volunteers. Collection of the results of the application of the device for the development of concentrations of eternal life, PRK1U, in 2 parts. Protocols of results on the use of video surveillance for 3-mode PRK1U configured according to medical profiles through the website medgrabovoi.tech. Agreement for clinical testing of the 3-mode device for the development of concentrations of eternal life, PRK1U, between the Scientific Center and Medical Institution Cadeo Alberto Ugo in Italy. Information about the use of the 3-mode device for the development of concentrations of eternal life, PRK1U, in the medical institution Privatna Praska Petrovich Ordinacija Neuropsychiatria in Serbia. Information about the use of the 3-mode device for the development of concentrations of eternal life, PRK1U, in the medical institution in Serbia. Information about the use of the 3-mode device for the development of concentrations of eternal life, PRK1U, in the State Medical Institution Narodni Front in Serbia. Conclusions of the experts on the results of clinical trials of the 3-mode device for the development of concentrations of eternal life, PRK1U, in terms of the function of curing diseases. Physics and Mathematics Theory, published in the journal Electronic Engineering, mathematical calculations experimental results confirmed by a large number of doctors of physical, mathematical, and technical sciences who were members of the editorial board of the journal Electronic Engineering on 20 pages. Patents for inventions of Grigori Grabovoi based on which the device was created. Published scientific work of Grigori Grabovoi applied structures of the creating field of information. Expert assessment. Expert assessment of the documents submitted for examination specified above. Expert research revealed that the certificates submitted to the experts comply with the required regulatory documentation, allowing the use of the three-mode device for the development of concentrations of eternal life, PRK1U, in the countries of the European Union. The three-mode device for the development of concentrations of eternal life, PRK1U, passed tests for electromagnetic compatibility in the state laboratory of Dvorsky Laboratories of the state institution, Institute Mikhailo Pupin, EIMP, which is subordinate to the Ministry of Science of Serbia. The tests of the three-mode device for the development of concentrations of eternal life, PRK1U, for electromagnetic compatibility were carried out in Dvorsky Laboratories in full compliance with the Directive on Electromagnetic Compatibility of the European Union. Therefore, the received certificate of the normal parameters of the PRK1U device issued by Dvorsky Laboratories according to the directives of the European Union in accordance with international law allows the CE marking to be placed on the device. Additionally, there is a CE certificate obtained in the European Union. Dvorsky Laboratories is appointed by the Ministry of Economy of Serbia to issue such certificates for the sale of devices with characteristics within the directives of the European Union. So, there are no restrictions on the use of PRK1U and PRK1UM devices in the European Union. The report of Dvorsky Laboratories in English on the tests of the three-mode device for the development of concentrations of eternal life, PRK1U, with the conclusion that the characteristics of this device comply with the standards of the European Union, is published on the website indicated on the back panel of the device on the page. The report of Dvorsky Laboratories in English on the tests of the three-mode device for the development of concentrations of eternal life, PRK1U, with the conclusion that the characteristics of this device comply with the standards of the European Union, is published on the website indicated on the back panel of the device on the page. The second report by Dvorsky Laboratory on the testing of the PRK1UM device with a class first laser. The three-mode device for the development of concentrations of eternal life, PRK1U, has passed comprehensive safety tests in the ANL laboratory certificate from the Vinci State Institute. The first page of the report contains a CE mark that applies to the entire device together with the mains plug with an adapter. A photo of the device with a CE mark on the first page of the report documentation. The report of the ANL laboratory in English on the tests of the three-mode device for the development of concentrations of eternal life, PRK1U, and three-mode device, PRK1UM, with the conclusion that the characteristics of this device comply with the standards of the European Union, is published on the website on pages. The certificates obtained based on these reports are given on the website The website page is provided in the expert's conclusion. Information on inventions with patent numbers is located on the device body. The device is manufactured under the trademarks Grabovoi and Grigori Grabovoi. The study of the provided documents allows the experts to conclude that the three-mode device for the development of concentrations of eternal life, PRK1U, and three-mode device PRK1UM, used in the field of education, are not harmful to health according to the certificates of Serbia on normal parameters of electromagnetic compatibility and safety, based on which the device is marked AAA-CE. Since 2016, the three-mode device for the development of concentrations of eternal life, PRK1U, has been used by volunteers for training and self-development. As a result of long-term regular use of the PRK1U device, the volunteers noted that in addition to developing high concentration of attention, revealing creative abilities, increasing the speed of thinking, optimizing decision-making processes, working capacity, endurance also increases, health is normalized. The facts of restoring health from various diseases are recorded in the protocols of the results of volunteers on the use of the PRK1U device. The volunteers connect these facts directly with the use of the PRK1U device, both remotely via the internet and when using physical devices. The PRK1U device assembled as a medical device is not harmful to health according to the CE certificate of the European Union on normal parameters of electromagnetic compatibility and safety under the ISO of 2016 certificate, according to which the production of the PRK1U device by the individual entrepreneur Grigori Grabovoi PR Consulting Technologies of Eternal Development is certified as the production of a medical device. Based on the results of an expert assessment of the information located in the points listed above from point 6.9 to point 6.14, experts can conclude that the use of the three-mode device for the development of concentrations of eternal life PRK1U cures various diseases. Cures for diseases have been established under protocols of results on the use of video surveillance for three-mode PRK1U configured according to medical profiles through the website Med Grabovoi Tech. Good results in curing diseases were established in the course of work under the contract for a clinical trial of the three-mode device for the development of concentrations of eternal life PRK1U between the Scientific Center and the medical institution Cadeo Alberto Ugo in Italy. The use of devices in a medical institution is established under the certificate on the use of the three-mode device for the development of concentrations of eternal life, PRK1U, in the medical institution in Serbia. The use of devices in a medical institution is established under the certificate on the use of the three-mode device for the development of concentrations of eternal life, PRK1U, in the medical institution Specialistica Capsiatristica Ordinasia Prim Med in Serbia. The use of devices in a medical institution is established under the certificate of the use of the three-mode device for the development of concentrations of eternal life, PRK1U, in the medical institution Narodni Front in Serbia. During clinical trials of the three-mode device for the development of concentrations of eternal life, PRK1U, for the function of healing from diseases, experts concluded that the use of the three-mode device for the development of concentrations of eternal life, PRK1U, cures various diseases. The certificate of the International Standard for Information Security Management, ISO 27001 from 2013, allows ensuring the information security of PRK1U users. The certificate of the Energy Management System ISO 500001 from 2018, which protects the environment, establishes that energy-saving systems that protect the environment are implemented during the production of PRK1U. The expert assessment of the documents submitted for examination, as indicated above, allows the expert to conclude that there is not a single case of harm caused when using the PRK1U device since the beginning of the operation in February 2016. When studying the three-mode device for the development of concentrations of eternal life, PRK1U, experts concluded that the concentration on lenses, numbers, and on any surface of a physical device near a person, including light pulses of the third mode in the slots of the device body and in the power buttons, constitutes no more than 1% the area of the device, is not harmful to health under any circumstances.
Сертификат Международного стандарта управления информационной безопасностью ISO 7001.
When studying the effect of concentrations on a static image on a monitor, including an image with light pulses on a person, the experts concluded that the concentration on lenses and PRK1U numbers and on any surface of the device, including the third mode, when insignificant light pulses are viewed from an area of no more than 1% of the device surface, is not harmful to health under any conditions. The conformity of the three-mode device for the development of concentrations of eternal life, PRK1U, to the declared functions, in addition to the evidence given in the previous clauses, is also proved by the following. Physico-mathematical theory, mathematical calculations, experimental results, confirmed by a large cast of doctors of physical, mathematical, and technical sciences, who were members of the editorial board of the journal Electronic Technology and published in this journal. Patents for inventions of Grigori Grabovoi, based on which the device was created. Video test reports of the device with good system results which were conducted by all 128 test participants, recorded for the tests without exception. Signed protocols of successful testing of the device. Over a 4-year period with hundreds of tests and operations of the device without negative results, with numerous positive results. The scientific justification of the method of developing concentrations of eternal life using PRK1U is given in the work Physical and Mathematical Methods that scientifically substantiate the methods of developing concentrations of eternal life using PRK1U, published in 2018. This work states the following. The following components are involved in the physical model of the development process of the concentrations of eternal life using the PRK1U device. Spheroidal elements such as lenses, crystals, elements that make up the electromagnetic circuit of the device, electromagnetic field, radiation of the operator's thought. All 5 indicated components are interconnected in a weak signal of the elements of thought emission. It is well known that a quantum video camera aimed at a person's head captures the dynamics of thought radiation depending on the intensity of thinking and the connection of thinking with the objects of thinking. This allows, by calculating the quadruple integral by the Runge-Kutta method, to calculate the angular coefficients that allow determining the mutual radiations that make up the overall optical and wave model of the physical process occurring during the operation of the PRK1U. Since in quantum mechanics, not only light, but any bodies, including any microparticles and microparticles related to the electromagnetic field, have wave properties, the equation describing one of the physical processes in PRK1U has the form of the Schrödinger equation, which is presented
Научное обоснование способа развития концентрации вечной жизни с использованием ПРК приведено в 2018 году в труде физико-математические методы, научно обоснованные способы.
Having considered the indicated physical process in connection with the equation given in published scientific work by Grigori Grabovoi, Applied Structures of the Creating Field of Information, E is equal to B multiplied by S, where E energy, B volume, S volume perception speed. We can calculate energy and speed of development of concentrations of eternal life. Physicists constantly use such idealized concepts as material points, point charges, magnetic dipoles, and so on. In fact, masses or charges concentrated at a point are not registered. In terms of a material point of mass 1, it is an idealized model of a ball of sufficiently small radius epsilon and mass 1. If there are no other masses in space, the density of matter in space will be distributed according to a certain law related to delta epsilon from X.
с объектами материи, что позволяет посредством расчета
In the theory of generalized functions, there is a definition of weak convergence of functionals, according to which we can define the dynamic process of interaction of the weak radiation of the thinking element in the glass lens and interacting with the matter and shape of the lens. The external shape of the lens refers to macroprocesses and determines for the emitting outgoing signal the vector of its dissemination. Applying the theory of functions of a complex variable in the calculation part, it's possible to calculate how the weak optical signal of thought radiation reflected in the lens comes out of the lens amplified. To describe the connection between microprocesses and macroprocesses, it's necessary to consider organizing applied creating structure of consciousness as described in the scientific work Applied Structures of the Creating Field of Information. The division of consciousness into a perceiving part and a non-perceiving part organizes the two projections. The formulas were presented on the screen, where M from T in the mass measurable time consumption
это энергия, объем, скорость восприятия объема. Считать энергию. Скорость развития концентрации вечной жизни. Физики постоянно используются.
Having considered the indicated physical process in the connection with the equation given in published scientific work by Grigori Grabovoi, Applied Structures. Sorry, just a moment.
Заряды, магниты, диполи и так далее. На самом деле сосредоточенность в точке массы или зарядов не регистрируется. Когда говорят о материальной точке массы 1, то это идеализированная модель шара, достаточно малого радиуса эпсилона массы 1. Если в пространстве нет других масс, то плотность материи в пространстве будет распределена по определенному закону, связанному с дельта эпсилон от x.
I'm sorry, I continue. The expenditure of the time mass is associated with a change in consciousness in the field of control, according to the following connection, which is also, sorry.
Можно определить динамический процесс взаимодействия слабого излучения элементов мышления, находящегося в стеклянной линзе, и взаимодействующая с материей формы линзы.
The mass of the event measured as the total mass of all the elements of the event is distributed over a time interval by the points of the interval restriction. Therefore, the connection between the processes of the micro and macro levels can be found at the boundary points of the time interval of the control environment. G large from X, Y, Z, T is equal to G small from T in turn from X, Y, Z, where G macro level, G small micro level event. It follows from the above event that an object that can control discrete levels of consciousness and perception at the level of boundary phenomena of micro and macro processes can create any information and consequently material environment. Therefore, the intensity of the radiation of the outgoing signal from the glass optical lens is regulated by the intensity of the radiation of the concentration dots by concentrating on the lens. As described in the publication Phenomenon of Psychophotographs, Concentration on Shapes, a link to this publication is given. Concentration on shapes allows eliminating photographs with figures of the desired shape. Doctor of Physical and Mathematical Sciences, Gertzenstein, All Russian Research Institute of Optical and Physical Measurements, believes that the results of the described experiments don't contradict the laws of physics at all. He fully admits that the sensitive cells of the retina, rods, and cones have the property of reversibility. It is possible that they work like semiconductor photodiodes, which can not only perceive light, but also become emitters LEDs if a current is passed through them. In other words, the receptors of the retina can be both receivers and generators of some kind of radiation. Doctor of Biological Sciences, Professor Simakov, agrees with this version. It's not visible light that comes from the eyes, but most likely electromagnetic waves with an oscillation frequency that is not accessible to our eye. It can be assumed that something like an X-ray biolaser appears in the complexly arranged rods of the retina, acting in very short flashes. The role of the crystal in this case can be performed by the outer segment of the band. My research has shown that if a laser beam is introduced into the junction point of the lens fibers, the so-called suture, then it travels along with the fiber as if it were a light guide. Perhaps the information from the retina is transmitted to the environment through this way. The eye works like a biolaser, like a magic lantern, capable of writing thoughts on a screen. End of quote. For example, it was reported not long ago that Japanese scientists had already created a highly sensitive screen on which the outlines of images or people appear when someone looks at it intently. There is information about similar developments in other countries. The hypothesis of radiation from the eyes fits perfectly into today's scientific paradigm. The fact is that the illumination and exposure of the film with mental images occur even in cases when it is placed in a light-tight envelope. Proceeding from this, Doctor of Technical Sciences, Chernetsky, suggests that radiation from the eyes is formed not only in the visible wave range, but also in some other range, in which the black paper of the package is transparent. Recent studies have confirmed this hypothesis. It has been proved that the human eye is capable of emitting weak X-ray and coherent laser radiation. It remains only to continue the logical chain. If these rays are modulated by some information, then it is quite probable that these images will be fixed on photographic film or photographic paper. Thus, by changing the forms of concentrations inside glass lenses, it's possible to obtain radiation from these lenses including the lens located inside the device body of the desired shape of the developing concentration. It was proved by physical and mathematical methods and thousands of documented practical results obtained by using PRK1U.
На формах дана ссылка на эту публикацию. Концентрация на формах можно засвечивать.
The wear and tear of the PRK1U and PRK1UM concentration development devices due to the materials used is insignificant. The resource of the PRK1U and PRK1UM concentrations development devices is unlimited in time in terms of functions, and the device develops concentrations based on the current level of concentrations development during the time of the device application. On the basis and in accordance with the patent by Grigori Grabovoi, method for prevention of catastrophes and device for its realization, and other his inventions where normalization of a controlling impulse is made, Grigori Grabovoi created the device of development of concentrations of eternal life, PRK1UM 3 mode. The device is based on the principle of similarity to human body. It's the fact that the device itself has 3 main switches, wherein 3 main and additional modes operate. The device has functions of artificial intelligence. The first mode is universal. The second mode is amplifying the stationary phase of reality. The third mode is amplifying the dynamic phase of reality, impulse periodic. The impulse periodic mode is activated by the device circuit itself. Additionally, the laser can be turned on and the OLED display can be turned on in the modes of reading the number series. One of the lasers is constantly on, and the other one operates together with the motion sensor that's installed on the upper surface of the device. When there is no user, the second laser's turning off. By clicking the button, a file is opened. The numbers recorded on the SD card appear on the screen. In the modified PRK1UM device, the following new functions have been added to the PRK1U functions in accordance with the wave synthesis theory created by Grigori Grabovoi. The power of autonomous operation function without concentration has been increased. A small or short-term concentration increases much more than in PRK1U. Prolonged concentration is amplified by various progressions many times. The dynamics of matter works in a static environment through the SD card and LEDs. A static wave of reality in the form of volumetric physical matter and an electric current as a dynamic wave of reality coming out on a light pulse with the light scattering into an external, that is, an infinite eternal environment. A safe, permanently active laser operates inside the device as a static reality wave with laser properties, areas of high radiation intensity inside the laser beam with dispersion through a lens into infinity, into the eternal environment. The dynamic reality wave function operates from a second laser inside the device, which is activated by a motion sensor. Through the SD card, by means of the board software, Arduino Nano realizes the transition of matter into an infinite eternal environment through the number on the display as a LED. Each mode of operation of the device in connection with the work of artificial intelligence is enhanced by the SD card. Using the numbers on the SD card can carry out concentration with the necessary control at the required level. Numerical series can be periodically added to the SD card. The numerical series recorded on the SD card is not deleted during the factory assembly of the device. Sublicensees can add individual numerical series from the other works of Grigori Grabovoi to this numerical series on their computer. This ensures the development of the concentration of eternal life for oneself and everyone in the selected areas. On the upper surface of the device body, there is a compass with a mark of the compass needle location parallel to the beams of the lasers located inside the device. It is recommended to start the initial location of the PRK1UM when the compass needle is directed to the mark. Then you can select the location of the compass needle individually. The SD card, in accordance with the wave synthesis process, implements the transition of the electron to an infinite medium through the number on the display. The third mode, in connection with the operation of artificial intelligence, may require the use of SD card series, since when the third mode is stopped, concentration on the SD card numbers allows simulating the operation of the third mode. Comparison of the third mode and the simulated version allows for accelerated development of eternal life concentrations. In this way, it's possible to quickly implement control goals in an accelerated manner, developing and strengthening concentrations of mental event models. The new modified device PRK1UM has reduced dimensions 20, 16, and 6.5 centimeters, convenient for mobile use, the ability to be powered both from the electrical network and from a portable power bank charger. The modified device PRK1UM differs in detail from PRK1U by the presence of the following parts, providing additional functions of PRK1UM.
Григорием Гробовым создан прибор развития концентрации.
1. Arduino Nano V3 boards, 80 MW168 16 MHz mini controller, CH340G chips, 2 pieces, which are software and hardware tools for building systems in the field of electronics and robotics. The software part consists of a software shell IDE for writing programs, compiling them, and programming hardware. The hardware part is a set of mounted printed circuit boards. The Arduino programming language is a C++ language with the wiring framework.
Работают три основных режима. Прибор имеет функции искусственного интеллекта.
The author of the implemented program is Grigori Petrovich Grabovoi.
Первый
Number
режим.
2, SD adapter. Number
Усиление
3,
стационарной
OLED
фазы реальности.
screen for displaying numerical series from the SD card in the text form. Point
Третий
4,
режим. Усиление
LED
динамической
for
фазы
displaying
реальности.
numerical series from the SD card in the form of light pulses. Number 5, lasers, 2 pieces. Number 6, motion sensor. Number 7, compass. Number 8, micro buttons, 2 pieces. Number 9, switch button, number 3. 10, position switching button. 11, USB connector for connecting the external power supply of the device. 12, a power cord connected via a USB connector. The development of concentrations that provide eternal life for all is carried out by focusing attention on the receiver of the generated biosignal and controlling a result of concentration. In psychology, it's known that the more the concentration is carried out, the faster the goal is achieved and events are optimized. In the device, by superimposing fields from generation of a biosignal, electromagnetic fields controlling for the goal of concentration is added to this factor of psychology according to the law of action of universal connections. The device develops concentrations of creative controlling. In the theory of wave synthesis, it's known that thought generated into emitting can simultaneously have two quantum states. One of these states is on the sensitive element of the signal transmitter, and the other one on the signal receiver. This enables creating the devices of providing for eternal life that interact with thinking. In the patents for inventions by Grigori Grabovoi, it is written that information in the form of thought emitting is generated by a human operator. For operation of the PRK1UM device, a person concentrates emitting created by thought on the lenses located on the upper surface of the device. Thought contains the goal of concentration. The action of concentration for the present and future time is performed on the sensitive element of the signal transmitter consisting of lenses. Circular movements of concentrations are made from a lens of a smaller diameter counterclockwise through lenses of a larger diameter. For concentrations related to past events, circular movement of concentration thought was made clockwise from a smaller lens to a larger lens. And the concentration beam was not from above, as in the case of concentrations for the present and future time, but from the side of the internal optical block of the device. According to the information transmission system described in the patent, the other quantum state of thought is projected onto a signal receiver located in the form of an optical device inside the device. Realization of the method of normalization during concentration presented in the patent method for prevention of catastrophes and device for its realization is carried out by superimposing fields from generating a biosignal and electromagnetic fields.
Вводить концентрации с нужным управлением на необходимом уровне. На SD-карте могут периодически добавляться числовые ряды. Записано на SD-карте число.
For concentrations related to past events, circular movement of concentration thought is made clockwise from a smaller lens to a larger lens. And the concentration beam was not from above, as in the case of concentrations for the present and future time, but from the side of the internal optical block of the device.
Этим обеспечивается развитие концентрации вечной жизни и сил.
According to the information transmission system described in the patent, the other quantum state of thought is projected onto a signal receiver located in the form of an optical device inside the device. Realization of the method of normalization during concentration presented in the patent, method for prevention of catastrophes, and device for its realization is carried out by superimposing fields from generating a biosignal and electromagnetic fields. To the factor of psychology, according to the law of action of universal connections, calling for the goal of concentration is added.
Можно подбирать расположение стрелки компаса индивидуально. SD-карта в соответствии с процессом нового синтеза реализует переход электронов в бесконечную среду через число на дисплее. Третий режим в связи с работой искусственного интеллекта может требовать использования рядов SD-карты.
Conclusions of the experts. Based on the conducted research, it was proved that concentrations on the formulated objectives when using the three-mode PRK1U device and PRK1UM3 mode device provided good results, especially with the systematic training of methods of work with the device. It was found that the application of learning and self-development techniques in the development of concentrations using the PRK1U and PRK1UM contributes to better health.
Таким способом можно быстрее реализовывать цели управления.
Facts have been established that when working with the PRK1U device, people reveal various creative abilities.
Моделей событий. Новый модифицированный прибор ПРК-1УМ имеет уменьшенное.
On the basis of the conducted research, it was established that the PRK1U device, adjusted according to medical profiles and located on the site 3W Med Grabovoi Tech, through training and self-development, as stated in the conditions of use of the devices on the website, contribute to the health of people and full recovery of the body, contribute also to the regeneration and rejuvenation of the body, which fully meets the stated objectives.
Модифицированный прибор ПРК-1УМ в деталях отличается от ПРК-1У наличием следующих деталей обеспечения.
The use of devices through the website 3W Grabovoi Tech is provided free of charge, which allows you to deepen training and self-development to the level necessary for the desired result. No undesirable processes have been detected as a result of clinical trials of the PRK1U and PRK1UM devices, which are currently underway. The fact of only positive results was established in accordance with the materials of the tests conducted, set out in the reports. Based on the results of clinical tests of the PRK1U device in different countries, the mass use of the device physically and remotely through the internet on the basis of certificates, personal results, including the experts proved that the PRK1U and PRK1UM devices is absolutely safe for use and fully complies with the declared functions. The PRK1U and PRK1UM devices can be used as a training teaching system for self-development, since each concentration that leads to the realization of the goal leads to the development of the next concentration of eternal life. All conclusions regarding the three-mode device for developing concentrations of eternal life PRK1U and PRK1UM three-mode also apply to the system of 24 three-mode devices PRK1U and one device PRK1UM three-mode. At the same time, the efficiency of a system of 24 three-mode PRK1U devices and one device PRK1UM three-mode is higher, since in accordance with the patents for the inventions, a method for preventing disasters and a device for its implementation, and an information transmission system, the normalizing effect is enhanced when a system of 24 PRK1U devices and one device PRK1UM three-mode is used simultaneously. This is also confirmed by physical and mathematical calculations and test reports and results. Well, the signature expert Strachov and a group of experts. The results of the work of the users of the device are presented in a two-volume book, a link to which can be indicated by the organizers of the conference.
Этому фактору по закону действия всеобщих связей добавляется управление по цели концентрации. Прибор развивает концентрации созидательного управления. Теория волнового синтеза известно, что генерируемое в излучении мысль может иметь одновременно два состояния. Одно из этих состояний находится на чувствительном элементе передатчика сигнала, а другое на приемнике сигнала. Это позволяет создать приборы обеспечения вечной жизни, взаимодействующие с мышлением. Патентов на изобретение Григория Грабового записано. Генерирует информацию в виде излучения мыслей человек-оператор. Для работы прибора ПРК-1ОМ человек концентрирует излучение, создаваемое мыслью на линзах, находящихся на верхней поверхности прибора. Мысль содержит цель концентрации. Действие концентрации для текущего и будущего времени производится на чувствительном элементе передатчика сигнала, состоящем из линз. Совершаются круговые движения концентрации от линзы меньшего диаметра по часовой стрелке через линзы большего диаметра. При концентрациях, относящихся к событиям прошлого, круговое движение мысли концентрации производилось по часовой стрелке от линзы меньше диаметра к линзе большего размера. Луч концентрации при этом был не освещен. В случае концентрации для текущего и будущего времени, а со стороны внутреннего оптического блока прибора. В соответствии с системой передачи информации, описанной в патенте, другое квантовое состояние мысли проецируется и на приемнике сигналов, расположенном в виде оптического устройства внутри прибора. Реализация способа нормирования при концентрации, изложенного в патенте способ предотвращения катастроф, и устройство для его осуществления, производится наложением полей от генерации биосигнала электромагнитных полей. Фактору психологии по закону действия всеобщих связей является управление по цели концентрации. Выводы экспертов. На основании проведенных исследований доказано, концентрации по сформулированным целям при использовании прибора ПРК трехрежимного и ПРК-1ОМ трехрежимного входят к хорошему результату, особенно при систематическом обучении методам работы с прибором. При применении и технологии обучения и саморазвития в развитии концентрации использованием и ПРК-1ОМ с целью нормализации здоровья установлено улучшение здоровья. Установлены факты, что при работе с приборами ПРК-1 у людей
English translation will be continued a little bit later because I have already finished the first part of his speech.
Установлен факт, что приборы ПРК-1У встроенные по медицинским профилям и расположенные на сайте медгробовой тех, посредством, как указано в условиях использования приборов на сайте, обучение и саморазвитие способствует выздоровлению людей и полному восстановлению организма. Способствует также регенерации и омоложению организма. Полностью соответствует заявленным целям. Использование приборов через сайт медгробовой тех предоставляется бесплатно, что позволяет до необходимого для нужного результата уровня управлять обучение и саморазвитие. В результате клинических испытаний приборов ПРК-1У и ПРК-1УМ, которые проводятся в настоящее время, нежелательных процессов не выявлено. В соответствии с материалом испытаний, изложенными в отчетах, установлен факт только положительных результатов. Результатов по проведению в разных странах клинических испытаний приборов ПРК-1У, массовое использование приборов физических и дистанционно через интернет. На основе сертификатов, личных результатов, в том числе экспертов, приборы ПРК-1У и ПРК-1УМ абсолютно безопасны для использования и полностью соответствуют заявленным функциям. Приборы ПРК-1У и ПРК-1УМ используют в качестве тренинговой обучающей системы для саморазвития, так как концентрация, которая приводит к реализации целей, приводит к развитию следующей концентрации вечной жизни. Все выводы в отношении одного прибора развития концентрации вечной жизни ПРК-1У трехрежимного и ПРК-1УМ трехрежимного. Это также в системе из 24 приборов. ПРК-1У трехрежимных и одного прибора ПРК-1УМ При этом эффективность системы из 24 приборов ПРК-1 трехрежимных и одного прибора ПРК-1УМ трехрежимных выше, так как в соответствии с патентами изобретения способ предотвращения катастроф и устройства для его осуществления и системы передачи информации, нормирующий эффект усиливается при одновременном использовании системы из 24 приборов ПРК-1У трехрежимных и одного прибора ПРК-1УМ трехрежимного. Это подтверждено также физико-математическими расчетами и протоколами испытаний. И результатов. Подпись эксперт-страхов и подписи группы экспертов. Результаты работы пользователей прибора представлены в
The results of the work of the users of the device are presented in a 2-volume book, a link to which can be indicated right now. You can see it on the screen.
Организаторы конференции. Я хотел бы всех присутствующих знакомить.
I would like to introduce everyone present to my results
Со своим
from using
результатом
the PRK1U device in a medical
применения
setting.
прибора ПРК-1У по медицинскому профилю. Это результат 2019
This is the
года.
result
В
of
июле этого года ко мне
2019 in July of this year.
мой сотрудник
My
на
employee
предприятии, где я
at the
работаю,
company where I work, Evgeny,
сказал, что
contacted.
ему сообщили, что заболел.
He said that he was informed that his grandfather, Vladimir Grigorievich, who is in Moscow, had fallen ill
Владимир Григорьевич
with
лечащийся в
COVID
Москве,
and was hospitalized.
был госпитализирован. Состояние ухудшалось, ему сообщили не
The
сразу после
condition was getting
госпитализации.
worse. He was not
Дедушке
informed
было
immediately after hospitalization. His grandfather was 84 years
84
old,
года. Значит, плохой
so he felt unwell,
сильная одышка,
severe shortness of
работает
breath,
желудочно-кишечного
and
тракта.
impaired
Он
functioning of the gastrointestinal tract.
ничего не мог
He couldn't consume anything,
какую-то пищу,
some
потому
kind
что
of
была
food,
сильная тошнота.
because there was severe
Хотя очень
nausea, although he really wanted to eat.
хотел. Все-таки попытка принимать какую-то пищу приводила
Still
к
trying to
рвоте.
take some kind of food led to
Состояние ухудшалось,
vomiting.
диагностировали
It was impossible.
воспаление легких.
Then his
Ну, вот он
condition
сообщили
worsened
внуку.
and he was diagnosed with bilateral pneumonia. Well, this is where the grandson who worked with
Который
me
работал вместе
was
со мной.
informed.
Он мне рассказал,
He
я
told
его
me, I introduced him to what I was doing, the teachings, technologies of Grigori
познакомил, чем я
Grabovoi.
занимаюсь, учением,
Well,
технологиями
he didn't
Григория.
show such interest, but then I suggested,
Как бы такого интереса он не проявил. Тут я предложил,
I asked, will you work? If you do,
просил его,
you
будешь
need
ли
to
ты
save
работать, я
your
тебе, если будешь
grandfather. I'll tell
спасать
you
дедушку,
how.
я тебе подскажу как.
He
Выразил
expressed
такое
such a
горячее
strong
желание, я
desire.
быстро
I
рассказал
quickly told him the
технологии
technology
исцеления.
of healing from COVID, gave him the text how to work,
И да,
printed it
передал
out on
текст, как
paper,
работать на бумаге, распечатал. И
and offered to immediately do the control using
предложил тут же
two
сделать управление,
number series given by Grigori
используя два
Petrovich.
числовых ряда, данных Григорием Петровичем.
Well, the technique to use work with the device
Методику
profiled
использовать
according to medical profiles, specifically for healing of
профилированном
COVID.
Настроена на медицинские профили именно для
I opened this device on
лечения
my
от ковида.
phone,
Я этот
a video broadcast told how
телефоне
to
своем.
work.
Ну, видеотрансляцию. Как делать? Использовали мы метод разложения
We used the method of decomposing numbers into their component parts behind, already in space, behind the instrument panel.
Чисел на составные части уже в пространстве за панелью прибора. Они потом у меня эти
Then
формы
these
чисел
separate
отдельные.
forms of numbers, they usually fold into a ring in my perception.
Кольцо сворачивается, потом я его
Then I project it, this ring, the light from this ring, from the component forms of numbers, usually down onto the objects of collective consciousness. The luminous reflected light, the spheroidal light, I already moved forward with an effort of spirit to realize the goal of control, healing Vladimir Grigorievich, the fastest help.
Цели управления, ну, исцеление. Скорейшая помощь. Ну, и
well, he started working
начал он работать
and quickly built up the control, the structure, the scheme. He started working and turned. Help, help. He just screamed because the control was crushing me. The darkness was heavy and I can't do anything. So I helped him. We quickly advanced the area of realization to infinity, to the luminous area, and we felt relieved.
Почувствовали облегчение. Следующий день он мне сообщил, что дедушка
Well, the next day he informed me that his grandfather was much better.
Продолжали же управлять.
But we continued to control using other methods, and after a few days his grandfather almost recovered.
Дедушка практически выздоровел.
But they didn't return him to the boarding house where he was for the elderly, but returned him to a separate building for quarantine. Although he was very torn, he swore to be let in where he lived.
Корпус для карантина, хотя он сильно рвался, ругался в том стиле, где он жил там.
He has friends and acquaintances there, but then he was transferred anyway.
У него друзья, там, знакомые. Но его потом перевели все-таки. Ну, при этом
at this control, it was in my office at work. Several other people were present. They asked, "What are you doing? What is it? What was going on?" They heard that Grandpa had practically recovered there in a few days. Well, I told them that this is Grigori Grabovoi's technology. They were so thoughtful. Then one asked, so he said, is he the Messiah? Well, I said yes. Grandfather, when he was transferred, he had a stable connection. He got acquainted with the situation there, back to the boarding house where he had previously lived, where he was. He said that on the day he was taken away by ambulance, 4 more people were hospitalized. That is 5 people on that day. Well, we managed to save grandfather and the other 4 people, elderly people, who fell ill with the COVID. They died. So on November 8, I called this employee of mine, Evgeny, and asked how his grandfather was. It's been 5
Прошло
years,
5
in
лет
fact,
после как мы
since
работали
time we
его
worked for him, cured him of
ковида.
COVID. He said that Grandpa is the most alive,
Что
his
дедушка
health
живее
is
всех живых.
normal, cheerful, happy. The man is 89 years old. These
Здоровье
are
в
the
норме,
results.
жизнерадостный, веселый. 89 лет. Такие результаты. Через несколько месяцев ко мне
A few months later, one of the
обратился,
witnesses of
позвонил
that
вот один
control,
из свидетелей этого
also an
управления,
employee, a shift supervisor, contacted me,
бросил
called
трубку,
on Saturday evening,
начальник смены.
but we were just at work. We were called for some problem and said, I'm sick. I'm very unwell,
Звонил в субботу вечером, но мы как раз были на работе.
suffocating, severe shortness of breath. Save me. Those were literally the words.
Сказал, что я вот заболел, мне очень плохо, задыхаюсь, одышка, спаси меня. Такие слова. Я сказал, что я на работе,
I said that I was at work,
понял, что
but then I realized that he was feeling very
плохо
bad
надо немедленно делать.
and that I needed to
Я был на
immediately
работе
do
и
control. I was at work and in the shop without a phone, without a computer, but I just mentally imagined the device,
компьютера, но я просто
launched the
мысленно
control
представил прибор,
approximately the same. Well, in general, before we were allowed to do the
примерно
work
такие
for
же.
which we came, I sat for 20 whole minutes and controlled.
До того, как нас допустили к работе, из-за которой мы приехали, 20 минут.
And in general, he felt much better. This was on Saturday. I even thought that he would go to work on Monday, close the sick leave. But he says, I felt great, but when I went to the hospital, I still had shortness of breath, and they didn't close my sick leave. And his lungs were also recovering for some time, but now he's alive, healthy, working, and helping me with work.
У него восстанавливались легкие какое-то время. Сейчас он жив, здоров, работает. И помогает мне по работе. Я доложил о своем опыте.
I reported on my experience of using the concentration development device
Прибора развития концентрации сознания ПРК-1У.
and knowledge concerning the PRK1U adjusted according to medical profiles.
Медицинскому профилю. Я хотел с участниками конференции
I also
поделиться
wanted to share with the conference participants
применением
the experience of using the concentration development
развития
device to
концентрации
control technical
управления
devices.
техническими устройствами. Но я сам работаю над
But I myself work in production in a large one. I constantly interact with equipment. I work as an adjuster, a supervisor, and with
постоянное
service
взаимодействие
personnel.
с техникой, работаю наладчиком, начальником и с обслуживающим персоналом. Самый первый
My very first result of use is described in detail in the testimony of
результат применения
2017.
подробно описан в свидетельстве 2017 года.
There is a large text, a lot of technical terminology, what and how happened.
Большой текст, много всякой технической терминологии, что происходило. Это может желающий
Anyone
ознакомиться,
who
он
wants can read it.
выставлен
It is posted in a 2-volume work on the results of using the PRK1U devices.
А я просто хотел как бы дальше
Those who wish can get acquainted there. And I just wanted to further share the
и с опытом
experience of
применения
using concentration development
приборов
devices
развития
to
концентрации
control
для
technical
управления
devices over
техническими
the
ресурсами.
past 2 or 3 years.
Последние годы,
I
2-3 года,
periodically have to figure out all sorts of
применение
incomprehensible
периодически
modes
происходит,
of
раз
operational
всяких
equipment,
непонятных
failures, and identify their causes.
режимах работы оборудования, сбоях, проявлять их причины. Если раньше я просто ставил
If earlier I
управление,
just set up control and meant to find the purpose of control, identify the cause of the malfunction and
что
fix
я
it,
цель
well,
управления
in
найти,
general, I let down
выявить
control
причину,
in this way.
нарушение в работе, ее исправить, в общем, так управление. Последние 2-3 года я
For the last 2-3
немножко
years,
иначе
I have been
формулирую,
formulating
что
it a little differently. I set up the sphere of control, well, as
эту
Grigori
сферу
Grabovoi
управления,
recommends.
как Григорий
I bring
Петрович
out the
рекомендует,
device,
выложу прибор,
make it over the equipment, lower 3 beams onto 3 legs as it stands with me. Then I make technical devices as if plastic in my thinking and perception. Well, and in the sphere of control, I also include all the personnel who participate in this event.
Пластичными технические устройства, мышление, восприятие. Ну и сферу управления закладываю. Весь персонал, который участвует в этом событии, либо вахтенный персонал, либо так.
Well, either the watch staff or the administratively. Well, who is involved in solving some kind of situation that has arisen? Yes, resolution.
Причастен к решению какой-то возникшей ситуации, да? Решение. Сейчас я немножко отстраняюсь.
Now I'm moving away from it all a little bit. I also see myself among the participants in the sphere where I place people. Already myself, I step back and set a control goal.
Себя отстраняюсь и ставлю цель управления найти, выявить.
To find, identify the cause of the violation or outline how to eliminate it or eliminate it depends on the severity of that what is happening.
Тяжести зависит происходящего.
And I have such an experience that when I do this, first of all, it is the transfer of knowledge immediately to people. It goes more intensively when I put it that way. And the experience is that people sometimes report, find, I spend less effort, time. People find cause of abnormal work, come literally 10-15 meters after the start of control, and young people, as a rule, recently working in production, they are apparently interested in everything. They are exposed, they are well managed, they perceive the transfer of knowledge and this light of eternal life. They find the cause, report that they have found it and have already eliminated it. Either young people or people with whom I have already worked. or on their
Люди,
healing,
с
or
которыми я уже
else
работал. Либо
there
по
were
их исцелению,
situations
либо
where
еще
events
как
developed
попадались.
in such a way that I worked and also captured them by control. They provide some ideas on how to get out of the situation.
Что где-то раскладывались, что я работал и их захватывал тоже управлением. Они дают какие-то идеи, как выйти из ситуации.
That is, it's not necessary for me to find a solution by myself to control so that I can find it. This is how it happens more efficiently. The dissemination of knowledge is developing. I also wanted to tell you about my experience of using interaction with the PRK1UM device.
Я хотел еще рассказать о своем опыте применения взаимодействия уже с прибором ПРК-1УМ. Хотел бы сообщить, что я участвовал
I would like to inform you that I participated in an online seminar in June 2024, 2 days on 23 devices, that is 22 PRK1U devices and 1 PRK1UM device, one and I don't remember 2 devices.
И один прибор ПРК-1УМ. Один уже не помню, или 2 прибора. Вот там 2 дня слушали мы лекцию Морозкиной Марины Валерьевны.
So there we listened to a lecture by Marina Valerievna Moroskina for 2 days, and then there was time, a few hours for independent work on the goals that you set yourself.
По целям, которые ставишь сам. Вот. И могу поделиться вот своим
So, and I can share my perception of how it changed for me, what happened to me briefly. I can report that I managed to increase the control power several times compared to when I worked with PRK1U before.
Мощность управления по сравнению, когда я работал до этого с ПРК-1. Также отметил, что прибор ПРК-1УМ динамично взаимодействует с моим мышлением.
I also noted that PRK1UM device dynamically interacts with my thinking, and detailed perception of time-distant information appeared, both of the distant past and of the future. I began to perceive information and events down to the smallest details. I just go in there and everything is visible, everything is clear.
События. Просто вхожу туда, все видно, все понятно.
In an active state of spirit, when I tune in to control in quick thinking, the PRK1UM device reacts instantly and new control angles open up immediately. You can enter such an active state and quickly carry out control, modify, adjust to achieve the desired result.
Активное состояние и быстро управление, видоизменять, корректировать. Достичь поставленный результат. У меня возросли точно.
I have increased the accuracy and speed of information perception. Right now, I feel or sense, I see how consciousness expands and my spirit rushes there too. The use of the PRK1UM device allows me to achieve the desired result much faster and increase control, continuously increase control speed.
Наращивать управление, непрерывно наращивать управление, наращивать скорость. Начиная
starting from June 2024,
с июня 2024 года я сам работаю
I
в 3
myself
приборах.
work on 3 devices simultaneously when I do control. 1 physical device and 2 devices via the internet,
Один
via
прибор
video
физический
broadcast.
и
I
2
tune in
прибора
and work.
видеотрансляции. Я настраиваюсь и работаю. Также я участвую в работе
I
нескольких
also participate in the work of several small groups of controls.
где тоже люди
I do people work simultaneously on 3 or 2 PRK1U devices.
или на 2 приборах. Хотел бы поделиться еще таким
I would like to
наблюдением,
share
что
another
примерно в середине
observation
лета
that approximately in the middle of the summer, well, earlier, I should say that I have been working intensively on the resurrection of people
ну, раньше надо
since
сказать,
about
что
the
я
second half of
где-то
2006,
вторую половину
2007, 2008. Well, and in general, I live in Novosibirsk. There are several groups
года,
here,
2007
well,
год,
twice a
2008
week.
год
In addition to
интенсивно работал
individual
на
work, group work was carried out,
воскресенье людей.
where controls for the resurrection of
Ну и
people,
вообще я
the
живу в
immortality
Новосибирске,
of
здесь
the
несколько
living,
групп
and eternal development.
раза в
All
неделю, кроме
systems,
индивидуальной
well,
работы, проводилась
resurrected
групповая работа,
ones were included.
где включались управление по воскрешению людей и умиранию живущих, личному развитию во всех системах.
We
Мы
immediately put
ставили
on the personal development of all systems.
личное развитие всех систем. Видимо, сказалось этот опыт, эта наработка.
This is
Когда
probably
я стал
had an
применять
effect, this experience, this development, when I began to use the PRK1UM device for resurrection
управление по
control.
воскрешению
Then
уже
somewhere in
прибор
July,
ПРК
I perceived such
1УМ,
an information and saw such control
где-то уже в
structure.
июле я воспринял такую информацию или увидел такую управляющую структуру. Причем я управляю сейчас,
So I control, now I'm sitting in a new apartment, but in 2006, 2007, 2008, I still lived in another apartment, in a house not far from here, opposite.
Интенсивно я работал
I worked intensively on the resurrection.
воскрешению. Переместился туда,
I
как
kind
будто я
of moved
управляю и
there
сижу
as if
там.
I was controlling and sitting there. The devices were in my consciousness, but I was working there, and I saw a window in
У
front
меня в
of me
сознании, я
and
работаю
into
там
the
и вижу
yard,
перед собой
which in
окно
principle could also be seen from here.
и во двор, который отсюда, в принципе, тоже можно увидеть. И там я увидел возник.
And there I saw such a structure appeared at the level of the 5th floor.
Такая конструкция на уровне 5-го этажа.
Somewhere 15-20 meters from my window, a golden sphere appeared in the yard above the surface of the earth at the level of the 5th floor. 2.5 or 3 meters in diameter, and above it, not very high above it, such, well, in general, I call it a portal, like a window or door, and elongated and arced upper part.
Окно или дверь вытянута и дугообразная верхняя часть. Я понял, что это портал.
I realized that this was a portal, and from there the resurrected were
И
exciting.
оттуда происходил выход воскрешенных. как только там
As
появлялся
soon
образ
as the
человека,
image of
это
a
было видно,
person
как раз
appeared
сразу
there,
это
it was visible,
вспыхивал таким
and this
ярким
portal
голубым.
immediately flashed with such a bright blue light.
Затем человек опускался
And a person
в эту
descended
сферу,
into this golden sphere.
чисто от нее шел конусообразный свет
Then a
вниз до поверхности
cone-shaped
Земли.
light went from it down to the surface of the earth. And then he went out essentially to the surface of the earth, and already touching the surface, the soil, he looked like an ordinary physical person. And he was dressed according to the weather.
Выглядел как обычный физический человек, причем одет в одежде он был по погоде. Вот, например, проявилось это летом, а я,
For
например,
example, this manifested itself in the summer, and I, for example, saw my dad as he came out, as if it was the end of autumn or the beginning of spring, such as the weather is now, and he was dressed accordingly.
Причем я уже тоже с год примерно не ставлю.
Moreover, I haven't set a goal for about a year now. I do not pull on myself to meet with me and let the situation go. I'm ready to meet, to help with all possible methods of physical adaptation, control. But I kind of give a person a great opportunity to choose how he will behave in general. I simply organize the structure and offer help, but I'm not pulling it right now, working differently right now. I do not organize
Большую возможность выбора человеку, как он будет себя вести. В общем, просто организую конструкцию и предлагаю. Не тяну именно, сейчас работаю иначе, не организовываю встречу именно со мной. Что вот выход людей идет интенсивный.
And I see that people are coming out intensively. They look very businesslike when they somehow quickly, as if they have some tasks, move away somewhere towards the city center. Sometimes it's strong control, it's just a flow of people.
Затем хотел поделиться, один раз у меня уже после управления появился.
And I wanted to share once after the control, a resurrected former employee appeared on my perception and told me, look what I'm doing.
Бывший сотрудник, и мне сказал, посмотри, что я делаю. Но когда я стал
But when I started looking there,
смотреть туда,
I noticed that the space seemed to open up, and I saw him walking down the street of a small shopping center. He had already passed it, went to the corner, went inside. There I saw that there was a small cafe, ordered food for himself, sat down and began to eat.
Потом все залило серебристо-белым цветом.
But then everything was flooded with silvery white color, and as if eternity, with the light of eternity, even I would say there were also such iridescences of color. That is, he showed me that he adapts, he has something to pay for, order food, and in general it means the physical body if a person eats food.
Последние месяцы в октябре получил информацию, что
So in the last few months in October, I received information that it is necessary to control crimes against humanity. These are events related to the mass death of people, with all sorts of
с этими
extrajudicial
возможными
killings and
несудебными расправами,
persecution.
преследованием. Ну, прекращение конфликтов, войн. Это я ставлю, если люди при этом погибли, на воскрешение сразу.
Well, the end of
Эти
armed
события
conflicts was, I put this, if people died in this, on resurrection immediately, and I disband these events, normalize them, and we work with groups and extend the lines from the past from these events, normalize these events, extend them. There are billions of silver-white lines to the current and to the future. They are in the direction of the point or even the era of general resurrection.
будущее туда, в сторону точки или даже области всеобщего воскрешения. Такая работа проводить.
This is the kind of work that is being done, was done, and is being done, and I wanted to share this with you.
Вот с этим я хотел еще поделиться.
So many thanks to all the interpreters, first of all, and many thanks to all the listeners too. And this first scientific conference lasted more time than what was expected. So we'll organize another section of this scientific conference. And all of you will be invited. So for the moment, please accept our excuse for the length of this first scientific conference. All of you will receive the registration, the record. And all of you will be invited to the second part of this scientific conference that will be realized very soon. So thank you very much. And now we stop this first part of the first scientific conference for global salvation. And again, thank you to the interpreters, and sorry for our weak organization. Thank you very much to everybody. We close this first part of the first scientific